It was in December 2019, Richard Gapasin Jr. was busted after attempting to pick up a package at the Guam main facility in Barrigada. The package contained over 1,000 grams of meth, with a street value of over $500,000. His arrest was caught on camera, with the video making its rounds on social media. Gapasin eventually signed a plea agreement to provide additional information on other cases in exchange for a lesser sentence. Tuesday's hearing marked the 8th attempt at his sentencing. Ultimately, he was sentenced to 5 years in prison. After the hearing, however, Judge Gatewood issued a decision and order publicly criticizing the handling of his case by the U.S. Attorney's Office and federal law enforcement agencies involved in the investigation. According to the 15-page order, Gapasin, as part of his plea deal, cooperated by providing names and detailed information of more than 12 individuals alleged to be involved in the local drug trade. The information included phone numbers, maps of their homes, license plate numbers, and information of his on-island and off-island suppliers. He also provided information relating to 3 potential public corruption activities on Guam, including details about criminal activities in which local government employees in 3 separate government entities may be committing. The chief judge noted in her order that federal law enforcement agencies weren't sharing information, communicating, and for the most part, Gapasin's information went unvetted for its value. Gatewood went so far as singling out Assistant U.S. Attorney Stephen Leon Guerrero and DEA resident agent in charge Ken Bowman for their lack of courtroom decorum, candor, and leadership in handling this case. Quote, "First and foremost, both individuals displayed unprofessional conduct during several of the sentencing hearings. Rather than responding to the court's questions, they both appeared to be nonchalant, with both going so far as laughing for unknown reasons during their testimony and argument," unquote. Although Leon Guerrero was noted as the lead person who worked with the federal law enforcement agencies involved, the judge found that there was no one leading it. Quote, "This utter lack of prosecutorial leadership coming from the U.S. Attorney's Office to facilitate cooperation and coordination among all 4 federal agencies compromised an important drug investigation and potentially even prevented public corruption from being ferreted out," unquote. She also criticized Bowman for his conflicting testimony of how he had been kept apprised of the investigation. Judge Gatewood wrote, however, quote, "Unfortunately, Agent Bowman, like Prosecutor Leon Guerrero, failed in his duty to lead his agency, failed in his duty to investigate, failed in his duty to communicate, and lastly, failed in his duty to coordinate. The failure by both of these men has left our island community less safe," unquote. Judge Gatewood wrote that her decision is meant to send a strong message that there are certain expectations that both federal prosecutors and agents will deliver. There is an expectation of leadership, communication, coordination, and investigation. These expectations can only be accomplished by the assigned prosecutor and other investigative agents. As for this particular case, she found that not only was this unfair to Gapasin, but to the people of Guam who also have potentially suffered and continue to suffer rampant drug mail and street crimes and public corruption in our local government agencies. Quote, "This court says enough is enough. This is truly an injustice," unquote. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Tyler Matanani.